Hey folks, this is Scott. I am doing this from New Orleans. To all of you who have been victim to Hurricane Helene, you have my sympathy, and because I'm from New Orleans, you also have my empathy. We've been through this a lot. My neighbor Joe and I were talking just a couple of nights ago, and we felt bad that we couldn't do more to help you out. We're obviously going to make donations like everyone else has, and like so many people did for us during Katrina. But we just can't get up there to help you physically. But I started thinking, maybe we can help you out. If we know anything in New Orleans, it's hurricanes and insurance claims. And even though you may have had an insurance claim with your company, your insurance company in the past, this is a completely different animal. Whereas in the past, you may have had a homeowner's claim for a theft or a small fire, or even a large fire, you were probably dealing with one adjuster dealing only with your claim. Right now, you're in a situation where the insurance companies are inundated with claims. That means you're just one of thousands, tens of thousands in your case, unfortunately. So I want you to think of this as going forward as maybe another job for you, is how do you manage your insurance claim? In the end, the insurance company works for you, right? You've done what you're supposed to do. You've paid your premiums for years and years to get them to take on the risk of loss if something happens to your home so that they put it back to the way it was and replace everything you had in there. That's their obligation under the policy. Your obligation is to pay premiums. Their obligation is to pay you when something bad happens. Something bad has happened now, so you have to hold them to the fire. So what I thought I'd do here is give you a little background on my experience in Hurricane Katrina, and then give you some tips that I have. And I'll post all this at the bottom of the video, and you can use it as you need. So just to start with, and you might see in the back, that's my little buddy Mando behind me. This is my Hurricane Katrina claim notebook that I saved from 2005. It's virtually every correspondence I had with Allstate Insurance and their adjusters over the course of over a year to get my claim paid. To give you a little background, you won't be able to see it very well, but this is the first check we received. It is for $221.23. That was on October 20th of 2005, almost 2 months after the storm hit, and we get $223. Ultimately, my claim was about $125,000. This is the last check we received, and the date on this one is September 29th, 2006, 13 months after Hurricane Katrina. So, as you can tell, it's not going to be easy, but it is doable, and you just have to stick with it and stick to your guns to a certain extent. Here are some things that I think you should know. So, like I said, unlike a normal claim, the insurance companies are backlogged. So file your claim as soon as possible. You do not have to know what your damage is in order to file a claim. You just have to say, I am sure I have damage and I want to get my claim process started. Insurance companies are typically going to go in the order that first come, first served, basically. So if you're in first, you're going to get the first adjuster sent to your house. They fudge a little bit on that naturally because at the fringe areas of a storm, it's easier to get an adjuster to earlier. Whether if you're in a deeply hit area where the roads might be washed out, they just can't get adjusters there. So they'll start working the fringe earlier. Well, that's my experience anyway. Like I said earlier, you should consider thinking of this somewhat as a job. Maybe a second job. I know you have to clean up your house. We went through all that stuff. My wife was 7 months pregnant with our second child when Katrina hit. We were living in Baton Rouge with her aunt and then trying to clean up our house and have a baby and take care of a 3-year-old. So we've been down the road. You can do it. It's stressful, but it's manageable. But you should really consider this as a part-time job for you because it's your job to get your money from the insurance company. Very rarely do they just cough over what you need. Again, I haven't said this yet, but I will say it. If you file a claim and they give you part of what you think you deserve, ask for more. You can go back. It's not that it's one and done. Keep going back saying, no, I don't think you've paid me enough. I can't fix my roof to the way it was before the storm with this amount of money that you've given me. Document, document, document. Again, I have my notebook back here. And this is, I found this inside the notebook. It's my very analog calendar from my Katrina days. And over here in this corner is the 29th of August, 2005. When Katrina hit New Orleans is the day I filed my claim. I didn't even know if we had damage at that point. Anyway, document, document, document. Take lots of photographs. Unfortunately, it's too late now, but had you had photographs before the storm, even better. But as you get in there, take photographs of what you're seeing, because you're gonna have to clean that up before adjuster comes. Pretty good chance you're gonna wanna clean it up, because getting all that water out of your house fast is paramount. The longer it sits there, the more mold builds up, the worse it gets. If you have water lines on your wall, take a tape measure, measure how deep that is. If there's sediment inside your house on the floor before you dig it out, measure how deep that sediment is. Anything you can do and record on your camera, better for you. It all helps in the long run. None of it will hurt you. Again, keep your correspondence. Who did you talk to? What day did you talk to? What did they say? When did they say they would get back to you? What is the expectation? What do they need from you to go to the next step, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're really trying to build a case here, and you don't want to get lost in the details 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the line. So keep documents. It's not that hard. Back when I did this in 2005, we weren't all walking around with iPhones that had note apps on it. So it was very manual, analog process for me, but it can be done. You're more likely to be working with a contracted adjuster than someone who actually works for your insurance company. They don't keep enough adjusters on staff to go out to a major catastrophe like you're having right now and put field adjusters in. So you'll end up, they contract out, and these are nice, hardworking people. They do this all over the country for disasters, but they'll contract out to them. But remember, they still work for your insurance company. They may work for 5 different insurance companies on any given day, but they still take their lead from your insurance companies. And the insurance companies do have influence over them because insurance companies are paying them to do that job. You'll have a field adjuster who is the person who comes to your house, walks around with their laptop, notebook now, and they all use basically the same software, so I've been told. And they'll note what they think is wrong with your house. This is your opportunity to also tell them what you think is wrong with your house. And make sure that they document that, and that you document that you've told them that. If they walk away and they missed a window on your house, call them back, send them a letter, send them an email, send them a photograph. Hey, you missed a window. This window's cracked. It needs to be replaced too. All this stuff adds up. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure that you get it. And look, you get more than one bite at the apple. If you miss something, or if you uncover something, which happens as you start tearing your house apart to get back in it, you got to go back. They can't stop and say, it's over. We already paid you all we're going to pay you. They're obligated under most homeowners policies to get you back to where you were before the storm hit. So just keep that in mind. I hope this doesn't happen to you. Allstate was my insurance company. They changed my adjuster 7 times during the course of my claim. So I would get near to having a claim settled, and I would call my adjuster and get no answer. End up having to call back to the primary claim center, and they would say, oh, your adjuster's not with us anymore. We're going to assign a new adjuster to you. They would assign that adjuster, and that adjuster would have no idea where my claim was, and I'd have to start from the scratch again. It's so frustrating, and I really felt like it was the delay tactic on their part and why not, right? They have the money that I need, so the longer they can delay me, the more frustrated I get, and the more likely I am to say, okay, just give me anything, I'll take it. So be patient. If your home has a mortgage, and I'd forgotten about this until I pulled out my book, your mortgage holder also has a lien on your house. It would be very unusual for them not to. So what happens is You finally get a check from your insurance company. You try to deposit it in your bank to pay that contractor that did the work for you last week. Your bank says, I can't. It's made out to you and your mortgage company. So then you have to send your check to your mortgage company to get them to endorse it, send it back to you, then you can deposit. That's another 2 or 3 weeks if things go great. So I recommend right now, find out who at your mortgage company you're going to have to send checks to get them endorsed, or find out if your mortgage company will give you a waiver of endorsement. One of my friends did this, it worked. I was not able to do it. They would then, the mortgage company says, you can just sign and we'll take in and tell the insurer just to put your name on the check. So it's worth a shot. It would save you a lot of time, and time is money. In Katrina, and I'm guessing they're probably going to do it with Hurricane Helene, the insurance companies really argued that a lot of the damage, particularly on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, which was just devastated like New Orleans was, but in a different manner, they argued that the damage was really flood damage. Water did the damage, and so that should go under the flood insurance, which is a national program. Your insurance company is also going to have do the adjusting for that program too, by the way. If that's the way it was during Katrina, and I think it's the same way too. You don't get 2 adjusters. You get 1 adjuster for your homeowner, and he will also, or she will also be the adjuster for your flood insurance. So keep that in mind. But they tried to argue that it was a flood claim so that they wouldn't have to pay it under their wind and storm insurance, shoving the burden to the United States government away from, in my case, Allstate. In the end, I don't think this worked. I think they ended up getting sued, and certainly on my side, Allstate paid most of my claim. I had just a small flood because our flood was caused by a windstorm. And that's probably, you might find that argument, hopefully you won't have to argue it at all, but it looms out there. This is a hard one. Swallow your pride. If an agency offers you some sort of money to help you get by, take it. So many of my friends said, well, I don't want to take welfare. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have a job right now. You know, you're not, I was lucky I had a job. I didn't lose my job. I worked for a company and they kept paying me. But I had so many people that I knew that were hourly workers that just didn't get paid. And take it, swallow your pride. It doesn't hurt if it's just a few $100s to buy food with. That's better than nothing. Along those same lines, always remember too, your homeowner's insurance is supposed to pay you for cost of living while you're not in your house. Keep track of those invoices. On Hurricane Ida, we went away and stayed, and they reimbursed us for most everything. Not Allstate. Allstate dropped me after Katrina. But they reimbursed me for almost everything except for a few restaurant meals that we had eaten where I didn't have receipts. All I had was a credit card statement. So keep everything. This goes back to documenting everything. If you have to rent a car to get out of town, they should reimburse you for that. So they're supposed to put you in a place where you can live your normal lifestyle. Again, under that policy you've been paying for. This is their obligation. Ask for help. Most states have complaint departments in their insurance department. North Carolina Department of Insurance has a site. Their number is 855-408-1212, and you can get them at www.ncdoi.gov, and then click on through to the homeowners insurance. Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance, 2 numbers, 615-741-2218 and 800-342-4029. And then their website is www.tn.gov/commerce/insurance/consumer resources. Another way to ask for help is through private adjusters. So in addition to the adjusters the insurance companies are going to hire, you're going to see signs start popping up around town. Private adjuster, PA for hire. If you're having real problems with your insurance company, and you're going to know pretty quickly if you're going to have problems, it is a good idea to hire one of these people. They are adjusters who have decided to go to the dark side and work for you rather than the insurance company. And They're experienced, they're skilled, they've worked for insurance companies for years, they know all the tricks. They know what to look for in your house that you don't even know what to look for. So you might have a little water spot on your drywall. You say, well, I've got 12 inches of drywall I need to get to replace. This guy's gonna stick his moisture meter in there and go, well, not only that, you've got 6 inches of insulation you've got to replace, and if that spot's wet, then this whole 5 feet need to come out. So rather than $50 to repair this, it's gonna be $1,000 to repair this. And maybe after you get that open, you realize you got even more damage in there. So I'll come back and take a look at it then. Good allies to have. They work typically on a commission, so you're not going out of pocket to get them. They're gonna look at your claim. If they think they can make money by increasing the amount of money you get, they'll do it. I do think some of them work on fees, but I do know there are others out there that work strictly on commission, and I highly recommend it. I've never had to use one, fortunately, but I've had neighbors in the past that have had great success, neighbors and friends, great success using private adjusters. So keep that in mind. Call your mortgage company, call your credit card company, call anybody that you make a regular payment to and ask them to suspend your payment. In times of stress like this, most will. It's bad publicity not to. So I know that my mortgage company suspended payments for 2 or 3 months after Katrina. So it just gives you cash that you need right now. You still got to pay it back, but they'll put it on the end of the mortgage rather in the beginning rather than right now. And typically they won't penalize you interest for those 3 months. They'll just delay or defer that interest and then put it on the back end. So it's a good deal. It's good PR. It's good for them. It's great for you. Credit card companies do the same thing. You just have to ask though. But that's incumbent on you to do that. Part of your job. FEMA is slow. They're faster now than they were before, but they're slow. But they do show up, and they do have a lot of resources for you. In New Orleans, FEMA was kind of the administrator of the program that allowed people to borrow money to rebuild their houses. The money was loaned actually through the Small Business Administration, SBA, but FEMA was the I guess the head of that. And so they're there, they work for you. They're a government agency, so they're not as efficient maybe as your local McDonald's is, but they really do a good job, and they really have a lot of programs that can help you out. Take advantage of it. Finally, and I may add more later, but this is all I can think of right now. If you get deep into your claim and you realize that you've hired a private adjuster, it's not going anywhere, maybe you've talked to an attorney, and you're going to see a lot of those signs pop up too. Insurance companies hate the term bad faith. So when you contact them and say, I think you've been dealing with me in bad faith, it's a red flag for them. This means that you're serious. And if you say that, and I'm tired of dealing with my insurance commission, I'm going to contact my Secretary of State and talk to them about this, or your district attorney and talk about it, then that kind of gets their attention. I hope you don't have to do that. I did, and I finally got attention. And again, I hope you don't have to do what I did, and I hope it doesn't take you 13 months to get put whole. Anyway, DM me at the bottom if you have any questions. I'll answer what I can answer. Again, I'm not an insurance expert. I'm just a guy who, I believe in insurance, right? I still have insurance, but I'm not an adjuster and I'm not an agent. There's so many people that know a lot more than I do, but I know a lot more than a lot of other people do too. So I hope this helps you. Good luck out there. My heart's with you. Bye.